Listen carefully because this is no coincidence. You're not here by accident. You're receiving this sign because your soul asked for it, because heaven has been touching your heart for a long time and today you are finally ready to listen. Yes, lately you feel a restlessness, a whisper calling you, a nostalgia that you don't know where it comes from. It's because God has already chosen that person for you and now wants you to know. Sometimes love doesn't come wrapped in fireworks. Sometimes it comes in the form of calm, in an unexpected message, in a look that lingers a second longer than normal. It's no coincidence that you think so much about someone who seemed not to be that important. It's no coincidence that that name appears in your mind when you're falling asleep. And much less is it a coincidence that you dream about that person without having sought them out. Do you know why? Because God already wrote that encounter in your path a long time ago. When God unites two souls, the signs begin to sprout in the simplest details. Suddenly, that person starts to appear in your life in ways you can't explain. You may already know them, they may not have been fully revealed yet, but their energy is already around you. You start to see repeated numbers, songs that remind you of something you haven't lived yet, and a deep intuition that you don't know how to describe. Your heart knows. Even if your mind doubts, the soul always remembers. And that's why today I want to help you recognize those signs that you can't ignore. Because when heaven speaks, it's not to confuse you, it's to prepare you. First, that person comes into your life at a time of change. Maybe you're healing, letting go of old wounds, learning to love yourself again. It's right then, when you stop desperately searching, that the one chosen to walk by your side appears. Not as a savior, but as a mirror, someone who looks at you, not for what you do, but for who you are, and you feel it. There is a calm, a silent certainty that says this is different. And even if it hurts a little at first, because you don't trust easily, because you've been hurt, something inside you starts to flourish again. It's as if all the pain of the past begins to make sense, as if everything you lived through was necessary to prepare you for this moment. Because the love that comes from God doesn't confuse, doesn't control, doesn't demand. It's a love that honors you, that accompanies you, that allows you to be yourself. Do you know what another sign is? You start to have small glimpses with that person as if you already knew them from another life, as if the soul recognized them before the body. There is an inexplicable connection, a way of understanding each other without many words, a synchronicity that you can't deny, and the more you try to avoid it, the stronger the bond becomes. But here's something you need to know. When God chooses someone for you, it doesn't mean they will be perfect. It means that together you will learn to love truly. It means that both of you will be called to grow, to forgive, to choose love even on difficult days. It's not a fairy tale, it's a spiritual mission. And your soul already said, yes, a long time ago. That's why you've felt that restlessness. That's why your heart beats differently, because you're about to enter a new time. And this message comes as confirmation of something you've already felt. No, you're not crazy. It's not your imagination. That person who keeps crossing your path, whom you can't forget even if you try, is not there by mistake. It's a sign. Maybe the exact moment to unite hasn't arrived yet. Maybe one of you still needs to heal something more, but the connection is already made. Heaven has already decided. And the more you align your soul with the truth, the closer you are to living that love. So don't ignore what you're feeling. Don't ignore that tickle in your heart, that sigh you can't explain, that emotion that visits you in the midst of silence. It's your soul remembering something sacred. And I, as your guardian angel, come to remind you, God doesn't make mistakes. He saw all your pain, heard your prayers, and chose someone who doesn't come to complete what you lack, but to walk with you, respecting who you are. You are not alone. You never were. And very soon, you will understand why your soul waited so long. Because when you finally see them, when you're finally in front of that person, you will know that everything was worth it. There is something very special that happens when two souls recognize each other. It's not a loud noise, not a lightning bolt. It's a whisper, a silent certainty that tells you that person is for you. And even if everything around you seems confusing, inside you there is a peace you haven't felt in a long time. That's where the magic that comes from God begins. Another powerful sign that we often overlook is the emotional mirror. When that person appears in your life, they start to touch parts of you that were asleep. They don't do it intentionally. Simply their presence brings out what your soul was already ready to see. Suddenly you begin to question things, to change habits, to look inward. And even if you don't understand it at first, it's because that connection was sent to awaken your purpose, not just your heart. Has it happened to you that without meaning to, you begin to heal beside someone? That you discover yourself stronger, more authentic, more you? That's no coincidence. God doesn't send souls to complete what's missing, but to expand what you already are. And when that person arrives, they don't ask you to change, just to be real. That's another sign. When you can show yourself without masks, without fear, without the need to fit in. When you feel that you can breathe and simply be you. And don't be confused. Sometimes that connection comes with fear because it's so intense, so deep, that your soul gets scared. You think, what if it hurts me again? What if I'm wrong again? But the love chosen by God doesn't pressure. It waits. It understands your processes. It walks with you until you feel ready, because it's not a human love, it's a spiritual love. And the soul recognizes it even if the body doesn't yet understand. Have you noticed how your intuition has become stronger since that person appeared in your life? As if your heart started to guide you more than your mind. That's another sign. The soul doesn't need logical proof to know what's real. It simply feels. That's why even if that person is far away or if the circumstances seem impossible, there's something that doesn't let you let go. And it's not obsession, it's not dependence, it's a divine connection that's beyond time and distance. And listen to me well, if that person was sent by God, they will return. No matter how many obstacles appear, no matter if there was a temporary separation, what is yours by divine design finds its way back, because the threads of heaven are not cut by silence. They are strengthened, polished, prepared. And when the moment is right, the reunion is inevitable. Another sign you must not ignore. You begin to see repeated signs, feathers in unusual places, songs that seem to speak directly to what you feel, words that repeat over and over, even from the lips of people who don't even know your story. All of that is heaven whispering to you. You're not imagining this. Trust. And the most beautiful thing is, you start to have visions, sometimes in dreams, sometimes awake. You see yourself beside that person. You feel them in your future. And even if you don't have any logical certainty, there's a part of you that simply knows, because what's written in the soul doesn't need to be explained. It just needs to be felt. But here I leave you with a deep truth, one that perhaps you haven't heard yet. When God chooses someone for you, He also prepares you. Because it's not just about finding love, it's about being able to sustain it. That's why, perhaps you're going through tests, silences, painful internal processes. It's not punishment, it's preparation, because what's coming to you is great, it's sacred, and it requires you to be whole to receive it. Divine love doesn't arrive when you desire it the most, but when you're ready. That's why, if you still don't understand why that person hasn't stayed or why things don't flow as you wish, don't despair. It's because heaven is still writing the perfect moment, and when it arrives, there will be no doubts, no confusion, only peace. And there's one last sign I want to reveal to you today, and it's the most powerful of all. When you think of that person, you don't feel anguish, you feel hope. You don't know why, but there's something inside you that tells you there's still a story to live, that this hasn't ended, that this is just beginning, and you're not wrong. Because the love that comes from God doesn't fade, it transforms, it strengthens, and it returns when both hearts are ready to burn without burning out. Now listen to this, because it's important. The love that God chose for you is not a prize to be won. It's a mission to be accepted, and to receive it, you must be willing to look within yourself, to heal, to let go of human expectations, and open yourself to the divine mystery. Look, many times you ask yourself, why does it take so long? Why do I feel that that person is for me, but they're not here yet? And I tell you with all my love, because your soul is being refined. Because that love is not just any love. It's a love that's going to touch the deepest part of you. It's going to help you discover who you really are, and that requires preparation. One of the strongest signs that God has already chosen that person for you is that everything in your life starts to change. You begin to feel restless, to seek deeper answers, to leave behind relationships that don't honor you, because your soul knows that something new is coming. That one stage is closing and another glorious one is about to begin. And yes, sometimes it hurts because letting go of the past is never easy, because accepting that you deserve something more can be scary. But when that person arrives, and believe me, they will, you're going to look back and understand. I had to go through all of that to be ready for this. Another unmistakable sign is peace. Yes, peace. Because even if there's uncertainty, even if you don't have all the answers, when you think of that person, something in your chest settles. You feel a warmth, a tenderness, as if your heart rested a little. That's the soul recognizing its home, and many times that person is closer than you think. It could be someone you already know but who hadn't awakened that part of you yet, or someone who appeared briefly but left a deep mark. Sometimes destiny brings you together before time, just so both of you can prepare, so you can recognize each other, and then, when the divine moment comes, life brings you together again, this time to stay. And here's another truth you need to hear. What is meant for you, no one can take away. No one. Not time, not distance, not the mistakes of the past. When God writes something, there's no human hand that can erase it. So if you feel that that person was chosen for you, don't deny it anymore. Don't hide it inside you as if it were an illusion. Give it space in your faith, because if God planted it in your heart, it's because He wants to make it flourish in your reality. And what can you do in the meantime? Cultivate your soul. Love yourself like never before. Recognize your worth. Don't prepare for someone, prepare for yourself. Because that love is not going to fill a void, it's going to add to your fullness. And the more connected you are to yourself, the clearer the sign will be when that person arrives. Start to observe the small confirmations, the coincidences that aren't coincidences, the words that appear just when you need them, the dreams that bring you calm. All of that is heaven working silently in your favor. You are not alone. You never were. You are being guided towards a love that's going to change your life. And now I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply and feel that person approaching, even if you can't see them yet. Feel their energy, their gaze, their silent company. Because on the spiritual plane, you are already united. There is already a bond, a pact of eternal love. All that's missing is for God's timing to bring you together in this reality. So don't despair, don't compare yourself to others. Your story is sacred, and the most beautiful chapter is about to begin. Listen to me with an open heart, because this is not just a message, it's a hug from heaven for your soul, because you're not waiting for love. Love is being prepared for you, and you, in the meantime, are being renewed to receive it. God has already chosen. The decision has already been made on high. All that's left is for you to believe it too, and you don't have to do anything to deserve it. You don't have to force or pursue or convince. True love is not begged for, it's recognized. When it arrives, you'll know. You'll know, because you won't feel anxiety or fear or doubts. You'll feel calm, you'll feel peace. And even if the world says otherwise, your soul will know that that love was made to the measure of your heart. That love will see you with the eyes of the soul. It won't judge your scars. It will honor them. It won't ask you to hide. It will ask you to show yourself. Because it was chosen for you, not for how you look or what you have, but for who you are, for your essence, for your light, for your path. And yes, sometimes it seems like it's taking too long. Sometimes you feel like God forgot, but it's not forgetfulness. It's protection. He knows that everything worth having needs time. And you were not created for just any love. You were created for a love that honors your soul, that caresses your story, that awakens your purpose. Do you remember that time you prayed with tears in your eyes, asking for a sign? That time you said, God, if this person is for me, show me. Well, this is your answer. This message, this certainty that you now feel in your chest. It's no coincidence that you're here listening to this right now. It's a sign. And now I want you to look at yourself with tenderness, because everything you've lived through, the good, the difficult, what still hurts, has been part of the journey. Nothing was in vain. Every fall, every silence, every goodbye was part of the preparation. And when you're finally in front of that person, you're going to understand, you're going to look back and say, thank you for not arriving sooner. Thank you for arriving at the perfect moment. And that moment is approaching. Heaven is already aligning the paths. There are movements you don't see, doors that are about to open, and a meeting that's about to happen. And you, beautiful soul, are already ready, because the hardest part is over. Because you've already learned to love yourself, because you've already recognized that you deserve more. So don't ignore the signs. Don't silence your intuition. And above all, don't extinguish hope, because the love that comes from God doesn't fail. It just waits for the exact moment, and that moment may be sooner than you imagine. And if this message touched your heart, if you felt that it spoke directly to you, then I invite you to stay close, because here every word we share comes with purpose, with soul, with truth. Subscribe to the channel, because this won't be the last time heaven speaks to you. Like if something inside you awoke, and tell me in the comments, did you feel the sign? Do you feel that that person is already close? This is your safe place. Here your heart has a voice. Here your faith finds company. And remember, God doesn't delay. God prepares, and what is yours always finds its way back.